What is going on, all of my podcasting people? We are bringing you a special New Year, not New Year, but the last podcast of 2023. I had to get on here. As y'all know, UVA played yesterday, so that is going to be essentially what Evan ranks today. But I want to start this episode off with a little different spiel. We all know UVA fan. I do like Notre Dame, so I'm a Notre Dame football fan. I root for them in basketball if they're not playing UVA. I've had some family. My godfather actually is a big Notre Dame fan himself, which is where this all started. But I don't have a Notre Dame hat, but we're going through my choice here with the National Signing Day in the portal. Those who are tuned into the YouTube video, you have a special treat because you get to watch me pick this podcast. Just imagine what's going on here. But we got a South Carolina hat, so Cox offered me a spot on their electronic triangle team for the band. I could be a part of the field crew for the Washington Nationals. Could take my talents to UVA with my 4 years of eligibility. Or State Farm is continuously asking if I would like to sell insurance against. So here's another option for us. Got 4 hats here. I'm busting out the UVA. I got to stay faithful. I think that's an easy decision for me. They already got a jersey made for me. Go Cavs. Here we go. But yeah, after a rough performance, we are still here rooting for Virginia. Just to get into it, I guess, before going into all of the negatives and positives about the game, I want to give you some stats here. So we start off very rough. I believe they might have had 3 straight 3-pointers. It was 9-0 at one point. I believe it might have been 11-10-2, something crazy like that. We started off very poorly. Couldn't find the basket, frankly. I mean, shots were there. They were finding good open looks and just weren't executing those shots. I don't know if that's just, the nerves of starting ACC play, trying to still mesh with this new group of guys. We haven't had a set lineup yet, so I think some of the guys are still trying to figure it out. I think Beekman is taking that role of sole provider for the Who's, trying to, gel these young guys together, give them some good experiences. But I think he's letting them do a little too much. Taking the ball up, sort of facilitating the plays. I want to see him do that, maybe some ISOs as well. But to end the first half, it was 24-41. We were looking a lot like the Memphis game where we were going on little runs. We were holding them on defensive spurts, but just couldn't claw back that difference when we were down to start. It was like the tip-off happened and the mood just already hit that, like, we don't want to be here. We're playing lackadaisical, this, that, and the other. Going into this game, the key matchup was the guards, of course. Looking at Beekman against a true freshman. I believe it's Marcus Burton is his name. His last name's Burton on Notre Dame. He's a true freshman. He's playing lights-out basketball over there at Notre Dame, been giving them a spark here for the past couple of weeks. Notre Dame's schedule isn't too crazy, but I think their record didn't show for how decent they were going into ACC play. They have a newer coach who's been doing very well over there. He's given them that sort of spark that they need. He's playing the right guys in places, and frankly, they're coming off a couple of crucial losses / wins. They've lost to some good teams in Miami, which was an ACC game. I got Ollie here trying to be a guest appearance here. But so lost to Miami. They came off a 1-game win streak. Maybe they're on a second one now. Let me take a gander at their games here. Okay, so they lost to Georgetown, which is a big one. Lost to Citadel by 20. A loss to Marquette. So they've played some good teams to where these losses look like, oh gosh, they're 6-7. They're no good. Still got a pretty good ball club, and I think we underestimated them going into this game. Knesny was a name that I was not too familiar with. He was actually a South Bend guy. He's from that area of Indiana. And at his dream school, Notre Dame, he put up lights out numbers. The dude was averaging maybe 10. He had 10 within the first 3 minutes. I mean, he finished with 17. Guy with the last name of Booth actually showed up second half. He scored 17 as well. Key matchup that we were looking at was the Beekman and true freshman Burton matchup. Burton won this one. I don't know if it was a fact of the matter of just getting down and not playing the high quality defense that we are, but or maybe matchups. Beekman didn't cover him the whole game. I did watch most, if not all, of this game, but being that I was getting very annoyed, hung over watching this, I just couldn't take it anymore. So I did tune out for parts of it. But Beekman let this guy score 15, gave 8 assists out, so he dished the ball out to a lot of people. That's the kind of game you want your playmaker to have every single game. Beekman had 15 points and 4 assists. I want him. He probably would have had 8 to 12 assists if we finished and executed on a lot of those plays that would have resulted in big time buckets, keeping us in the game. Dunn finished with 13 and had 5 boards. Frankly, I don't want to get into my hot takes here too soon because I know this is a pretty unpopular opinion, but I do want to shed some light on the Ryan Dunn situation. He started us off with 4 points to get us rolling in the game, but there were a lot of open looks that Dunn just couldn't execute. And I mean, we keep talking about his athleticism. He is a freak of an athlete. He's a hell of a guy. I can't speak any bad on him, except I don't see this man as a draft pick right now. He's a sophomore. He's skinny. He doesn't have a shot on him. The NBA is not looking for a type of player like that. Like, I would compare him to Trey Murphy in a way, but Trey Murphy has really improved his shooting game. I think he was a pretty decent shooter at UVA. He's put on some weight, some muscle here and there, but Dunn just doesn't seem like that young talent that he could be right now. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying there's been times where I'm watching and I just don't see that sort of talent, high caliber player that I'm supposed to be seeing. I think it does, we're playing bigger physical teams, and I think it takes away his game where he could be that 3-man instead of the 4 or the 5 that we're looking for him at. He can't play the post against those big guys like that. They're eating him up on defense. He's still a very athletic defensive player, but he's got a lot to improve. I mean, I'm one to talk to where I can't perform at that D1 level. So I am sort of, couch criticizing him right now. And I do wish Ryan all of the best. I think he does have what it takes to be a high caliber player. I think the deciding factor is going to be this ACC play, how he improves his game, how he betters his game. That's going to be what tells him where he needs to be come the end of the year next year. I think March will tell a lot of our team too, regardless of if that means we're going NIT or if we're making the March Madness tourney, going to the big dance. I think it's going to tell a lot of UVA's grit and their just tenacity. I think they need to sort of shell into this more physical team. I know I was looking at the group chat on Facebook, the UVA fans chat, and that is just an absolute shitstorm. Please, if you're not in it, don't get into it. It just makes you so mad to hear these uneducated fans talk bad about them. I mean, yes, I'm not talking negatively about Ryan Dunn. I'm just saying my personal opinions to where I don't want to say he can improve. He's still a high quality player, but just watching NCAA basketball this year, I think they're better players in a 64 pick draft. I think he will get drafted second round. Yeah, by all means, I think he's got what it takes to be in the NBA. And I think the difference is a UVA basketball program, we're not really training them to be in the NBA. We're not training them to be NBA ready. We're training them to be the best freaking college basketball player they can be and for us to make a run in March. That's what our program relies on. You see a lot of these big names come from UVA, and yeah, we've had some success in there. Joe Harris, Sam Hauser right now, Malcolm Brogdon. All of these players got drafted and were molded into the NBA format. They were not playing NBA basketball at that time. I mean, look at Joe Harris. Joe Harris was probably averaging 12 points, and now he's moving the ball around, running around. And in the NBA, he's standing on the arc, popping threes, and he's just a goat at threes. Sam Hauser's the same way. The NBA relies on these 3-point shooters to keep those high-scoring games going. The NBA is not about defense. They're not drafting you for your defensive skills. The NBA does not give a crap if you play defense or not. it's not a bad thing. I like where we're going with this because you got to start with the basics in the NCAA. And if you're not this great high scoring team, you need to rely on your defense to get to March and even the tournament, make a run, whatever the case is. But Malcolm Brogdon is a perfect example. Malcolm Brogdon was a play facilitator at UVA. He was a great defensive player. He got to the NBA and he was like, look, I know I'm freaking good enough and I'm going to start shooting the ball, running plays, doing this, that, and the other. And now, yes, he's on his third team, but he's contributed to every single team he's been to. And I think the reason he is getting traded is most likely because of the talent he does possess to keep an offense connected in a way. Getting back to this game, I have a lot of reservations come next season. Like I said in the last Evan ranks for the UVA Memphis game, I do look long term. I try to look at the positives. And honey, frankly, there weren't too many positives. We're losing Reese after this year. He's going into the draft. If Ryan Dunn's smart enough or decent enough to go into the NBA draft, he will go into the draft. I don't see him coming back to play with this young group of inexperienced guys to try to, you're not getting a ring, frankly. I hate to be that negative UVA fan, but I don't see us getting a national championship anytime soon. We have some really great raw talent. They need to, bulk up, get better, and all that fun stuff. I'm one to talk, yes, but that's just the true reality of what team we have right now. I think it was hyped up, and as UVA fans, we have this negative notion that we're going to win every single game. We won a national championship in 2019, and we're going to be that high caliber team from then on. That's not how it works, especially with the portal. All of that stuff goes into factor. I mean, we were a big portal team this year, but I don't think we worked it as well as we could have trying to get those bigger name guys. I think we got a bunch of decent people, but frankly, Minor and Rhodey were two of the names that I saw coming in this year, and Groves as well. Saw these three names, and I was like, we're going to be fine, guys. These three people put up great numbers in the divisions teams that they were on last year, and I think they have what it takes to bring that talent here, given who we have in Ryan Dunn, Reese Beekman, Leon Bond, Gertrude, even Blake Buchanan. I think these other guys can contribute really well. We haven't seen Jordan Minor out there that much. He does kind of look like a lost puppy running around. He's bigger, but he's just scared out there, so he doesn't have much to contribute in a way. Rhodey's been a big downfall for me personally. I expected a lot more coming out from him. He's sort of a lackadaisical player, sort of, just nonchalant, if you will. He takes a lot of shots that I don't think he should be taking. I want to get back to that Tony Bennett offense of pass, 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 shoot to whoever's open, or shoot with our best player late in the shot clock, make the defense work. I think he tends to just take. I saw him airball a couple of 2-point jump shots, a layup, or like a floater. Saw him airball a 3-pointer. That man does not need to be shooting out there. And it does give me a lot of nerves going into next season if he's going to be our point guard number one. Groves, he's got some work to do, man. He's a big body. I love his play, his hustle. I remember seeing a loose ball that was a bad pass by one of our guards. I can't remember who it was, so I'm not going to say names. But it was a bad pass. It was a loose ball, and Groves just kind of bodied the dude next to him to get to the ball. Foul was caught on him. They shot free throws. But I like that physicality, that foul there to make sure like, hey, I'm not giving up on this game. We might be down 15, but we can claw our way back. There's no doubt about that. Final score was 76-54. That's really rough. That's a 22-point difference. And it's sort of like that Michigan game. Like I said, if we're going to lose, I want us to play to the end. I want us to try to claw back and make it a close game, make them nervous. We've seen countless times. I mean, the Waldestein 3 against, what was that, Georgia Tech? I don't know. We've had so many crazy, wild games in the past 5-10 years to where it was a clawback and ended up grinding out a dub, and we need to get back to that. I mean, you're not out of it when you're down 24-41. I mean, second half, I think they outscored us by 5 points. So it's difficult when it's hard to make shots, and everything for them was going in. I mean, I watched so many crazy, not 2 minutes into the game, they have the shot clock running down, pass it outlet 3 to Konechny, and he just, without even hitting the floor, catches, puts it back up, and banks a 3 in. it's hard to win when shots like that are going down for these guys. But I really don't see too many positives in this game. It was a really hard one to watch. Um, I don't really even know where to rank this on my scale. I think something else that I do want to talk about that I think is intriguing for all of you guys to think about is Reese's play right now. I think Reese is playing safe right now. I think Reese is regretting his decision to enter the draft. I think he felt like he and this UVA club could contribute a lot more to the ACC, the NCAA in terms of basketball games, and even the tournament in March. We started off strong. We had a pretty low low competition out of conference schedule, which is okay, but it did not prepare us for the ACC at all. Memphis was the best task we had going into this, and I think it really showed what we needed to work on, and it didn't look like we worked on any of that. It's difficult when you don't have big bodies like that, but I do think Reese is kind of playing safe, trying to make sure he's not getting hurt. He's probably given about 80% right now instead of 120. He's still playing lights out basketball. I mean, he's a high quality player, but frankly, I think he could put the team on his back a little bit more than what he's doing. And it's because he's nervous about the draft. If he gets hurt, his stock is kind of ruined. Right now, he's an all defensive player of the year. He's another on the watch list. I mean, frankly, if he keeps putting up numbers that he's doing, he might be on the Wooden watch list. There's some other random names of awards that he could get. But overall, like I said, I see him sort of letting other people take that role of ball carrier, playmaker, facilitator, trying to make sure Tony Bennett's offense next year is ready, because he is a team-oriented guy. He is not the type of person to just dribble up the ball, drive, shoot, bad shots, whatever the case is. That's not in his play forte. He's still looking to win games, yes, but I do want to see a little bit more aggression from Reese moving forward. Between this podcast and the Memphis podcast, there's been one name that has been consistently left out. And I want to go to the box score of this game. McNeely, that's the name here. He had 7 points. I believe one of those points came from he had a 3 early on in the game when we were down. So that's 3 points right there. And then he only scored 4 the rest of the game. This is a West Virginia Player of the Year coming out of high school. Had a pretty good role last year. He wasn't at that, confidence level to shoot the ball more and more and more, but he was lights out in non-conference play. He played really well in the beginning of the season, and now he's just been MIA, man, missing in action. I've been looking for him. It's almost like we need to put some wanted posters up, because I can't find this same guy. I can't find the McNeely that is shooting lights out, that's putting up at least 12 to 15 points. He's just not been there. He's been sort of shy to shoot because he hasn't been making shots. I mean, when we're losing in games like this, everybody's missing shots. I'd rather see you shoot, get hot, and start making points than to see you shy away from shooting. You're a great player, man. I mean, you're one of the best 3-point shooters. You look at your 3-point stats, and your 3-point stats are still almost in that 45 to 50% range. Why it's still that high is because you're not shooting the ball as much. I want to see you shoot. I don't care if you miss 15 times in the game. If you go 7 for 15 from 3, that's 21 points right there, man. And I got full confidence that you can make 7 threes in a game. It's just that these defenses are catching on to sort of our plays and our off-ball screen, sort of trying to get you open. I want to see you work your magic, find a way to get open, dribble off the ball, dribble on ball to get moving, whatever the case is. But you are a key to this offense and key to us winning basketball games. I'm going to take a brief pause here and thank our sponsor. Thank you to Walker's Home Services for all your home service needs. I know I waited till the very last minute to give you your sponsor shout out today. That is probably because I am waiting for Hunter Walker to fork over some money into this podcast, maybe even just hop on the pod for a guest appearance. It's always nice to get our sponsor into it. But thank you to Walker's Home Services for the sponsor. Let's get into the ranking, and then I have a new segment that I'm going to bring in. But Evan ranks UVA basketball versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame had that, just a brief summary for you all. Notre Dame had that schedule that looked like it would be a walk in the park. They're a good basketball program. like I said, I do root for Notre Dame outside of UVA. That just got that bowl win against Oregon State. Go Irish! But I am a UVA fan thick and through. I will get mad. I will not root for Notre Dame for this game, and it was a tough one to watch. I don't. It was difficult. I gave that UVA Memphis one a ranking of a 1, just because it was sort of that culture shock that I wasn't expecting as well. But I'm gonna give this one a low ranking as well. I think I got to go with a 3. It was really rough to watch, but it was a fun offensive game to watch as a fan of basketball. Watching Notre Dame shoot lights out, not miss any shots, just throw up ridiculous shots. They had a fun game. It was fun to watch for them. It was very disappointing and aggravating for me to watch for UVA. So that's why I'm going to give it a 3 here. I think early on I kind of knew it was game. I think the Memphis game, it was a little bit different. I had some hope there. I thought we could pull it out, play a little bit more physical, and figure out where we needed to go to change what was going wrong. I think this one we just kind of gave up early on. I think some of the key guys that we needed just shied away. And I look to more positive games going forward as we move through ACC play. I think as a UVA fan, I have realistic expectations going forward here. I don't expect us to go undefeated every year. I don't expect us to win a national championship every year. I don't want this to seem like I'm bitching at our players, thinking that they all can do better and this is how we're going to change it. I am not the coach by any means, but just my opinions on. I know it is appreciated when you hear other people's opinions, especially when they're not outlandish like the UVA fans group chat. Um, but yeah, we're going to give it a 3 and then move into my final segment of this episode. This is a segment that I'm going to be implementing from this episode on, and it will have absolutely nothing to do with the topic of rank or whatever I'm ranking that episode. So this segment is going to be Strangers of the Day. It's something that I have thought of just based on me being an extroverted personality. I run into a lot of random people, whether it's the grocery store, going out with my friends, work, you name it. I talk to a lot of strangers and I have some quality interactions with them. It was Friday night and it was our friend Tara's birthday party. And we were going up to Wintergreen to go tubing and all this fun stuff. We went to breweries all day and had a time and a half. I had a really good time. Apparently, I flirted with the Devil's Backbone waiter. That is not true. I'm just a nice, outgoing individual, so I was nice to the gentleman serving us. I don't take it as flirting. Other people apparently did, but just wanted to set the record straight. I did not. He is not our stranger of the day. Our stranger of the day comes from the restaurant at the Wintergreen Ski Resort. His name is Zach. He may or may not be listening to this podcast. We exchanged phone numbers. I sent him the link to the podcast. He said he'd check it out. Seemed like a high quality guy, but we're all waiting in like the median to find a table. It's difficult when you have 14 people, but him and his lady friend were sitting there waiting, and we're a loud, obnoxious group, especially when you put alcohol into our systems. And so we were talking. I was trying to figure out the song that was playing, so I was like singing it up, and he was kind of laughing in the corner. I was like, "Yeah, man, you and I are gonna karaoke. We're gonna do a duet here soon." And he's just laughing his ass off. So they ended up getting seated. I opened the door for him, all that fun stuff, and I had this crazy thought. So we had taken tequila shots earlier in the day, but I had this crazy thought. I was trying to. Sometimes I feel called to do acts of service. I don't know if people look at this as like a good deed or what. I look at it as a fun experience, not only for me, but to make someone else's day, sort of like a lollipop moment. But so their waiter, I saw Zach over there in the corner, and their waitress came by, and a little Asian lady didn't know much English, and I was trying to tell her I wanted to buy him a shot. She couldn't understand, so she goes to our waiter, and I call him over. I was like, "Look, this is what I'm trying to do." Like, "Oh, you want to buy him a shot?" I was like, "I don't know if he drank it. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna give my man a tequila shot, and I'm gonna go take one with him." So we walk over there. I take a tequila shot with him. He's super appreciative. We fist bump. I go back to my table. Not 10 minutes later, my man comes walking over with a shot for me. So he returned the favor. I told him, dude, it is not likely to find good people left in this world, especially when you're doing shots of tequila in a random place with random people. I mean, I don't know if I would be taking 3 random shots with people, but he ended up returning the favor. We took a shot together. There's some videos out there about it if you're trying to see it. But then afterward, he had like texted me. He was like, "Yo, thanks, man. Like, that was a ton of fun." I texted him back. I was like, "One more shot for the road?" He said, fuck it. Let's take one more shot. So we took one more shot together. We got a cool picture. I might make that my new Facebook profile picture or the podcast profile picture. But we took a picture together. We exchanged jerseys, all that fun stuff, autographs, you name it. But that Zach is the stranger of the day. So shout out to Zach for making my Friday night. That was literally, I've been talking about it for the past couple of days. I can't get it out of my mind. It was just so much fun. And I'm the type of person that look for other people like you to have fun and out and about. So thank you, Zach. That's going to do it for this podcast, everybody. I hope you have a happy new year. Cheers to 2024 and go Who's, baby.